the young German nationalist Adolf Hitler joins a Bavarian infantry regiment as a messenger. His job is to take vital information up to the front line. But carrying messages was not a safe option.
The regiment suffered very, very high casualties indeed, and Hitler had found out that he wasn't a coward, that he could stand the fact that bullets were whizzing all around him.
In his first year, Hitler is awarded the coveted Iron Cross for bravery. He also shows his characteristic refusal to compromise. When German and British troops meet in no man's land on Christmas Day 1914 to sing carols, he will have no part of it.
How dare they, he said, fraternize in a war? These are the enemy. We can't shake the hands of the enemy who we're going to kill. No, this war was a fight to the finish, and he wanted Germany to win it.
But in 1918, his luck runs out. At the Battle of Ypres, he's blinded by a British poison gas attack.
Particularly virulent sort of gas called mustard gas, which attacks the lungs, the eyelids, the soft tissues.
The wounded Hitler is transported to a military hospital in northern Germany for treatment.
Usually, when a soldier is particularly affected by that attack, he is blinded, but the blindness goes away in a few hours or days.
But strangely, Hitler's eyesight doesn't return. His doctors can't understand it. One story goes, they ask a leading German psychologist, Edmund Forster, to take a look at him. Forster concludes that his blindness is hysterical, not physical. He prescribes that the only way to cure Hitler is to boost his ego. Forster hypnotizes Hitler and tells him that he is blind, but as God has made him an exceptional person, he can regain his eyesight again through sheer willpower.
Hitler would have learned that despite his humble rank and his humble background, he was a special being. And the idea that he had been singled out by destiny for a special role in history.
Forster allegedly tells Hitler that he is the person who can make Germany great again. It's a message that Hitler takes to heart. He is not like other men. Forster then holds a lit candle in front of Hitler's eyes and says that if he can see the flame, he's cured. The mind game works. Hitler's vision returns, and he becomes convinced he is a man of destiny. At the end of World War I, Corporal Adolf Hitler hears some devastating news.
He says a trembling pastor came in and said Germany had surrendered, the war was over, Germany had lost.
Everything went black again before my eyes. There followed terrible days and even worse nights. In these nights, hatred grew in me, hatred for those responsible for this deed.
Convinced he is a man of destiny, Hitler makes a promise to himself.
When I was confined to bed, the idea came to me that I would liberate Germany, that I would make it great. I knew immediately that it would be realized.
By 1919, the 30-year-old Hitler returns to a Munich ravaged by war. He believes that Germany only surrendered because it had been betrayed by left-wing politicians, many of whom were Jews, who plotted to ensure Germany's defeat.
He viewed that armistice in 1918 as a stab in the back for the German military and had been done, in his mind, by the politicians of the centre and, crucially, by the Jews.
True to his vow to make Germany great again, he drifts into a fringe political party, the German Workers' Party. They have no members of parliament and only a few hundred supporters, but they do have rousing meetings in beer halls. He loves their communist bashing rhetoric. and their hatred of the Jews. The party members quickly notice Hitler's passion as a speechmaker and enlist him as their propaganda chief.
Within a year, it becomes known as the National Socialist German Workers' Party, what we now call the Nazi Party, and Adolf Hitler is its leader.
Once in charge, Hitler starts to apply one of the lessons he learned in Vienna. Violence works. He forms a paramilitary organization made up largely of disgruntled ex-soldiers like himself, his so-called brown shirts, or stormtroopers.
The Nazis' paramilitaries were prepared to commit acts of thuggery and even of murder. And this, of course, accorded very much with Hitler's own philosophy of force and violence.
At this stage, Hitler's aim is to seize power by force, not election. So in 1923, he plans a coup. His inspiration comes from Italy. He particularly admires the rise of a new popular right-wing movement, the Fascists, led by Benito Mussolini.
He saw Mussolini was this giant poser with his shaven head, and everybody knew about Mussolini and the Fascist Party.
In October 1922, Benito Mussolini marches on Rome with his 30,000 black shirts and storms to power in Italy.
The evidence from Italy was that power could be seized. You didn't need to win it through the ballot box.
Hitler decides to do the same. With his 600 stormtroopers, he takes over a beer hall in Bavaria, where the state prime minister Gustav von Kahr is holding a meeting. As he enters the building, he fires a shot into the ceiling and declares a national revolution. Then he marches into Munich to seize power. The state police have been alerted and open fire. "14 Nazis are killed. Only wounded, Hitler manages to escape. But 3 days later, he's arrested and sentenced to 5 years for treason. It looks like he's finished. Prison turns out to be a time of reflection for the future Führer. It's a chance to turn his extreme views into something that resembles a coherent political program. With his fellow Nazi Rudolf Hess taking dictation, he writes a book that will be read the world over, Mein Kampf. It's Adolf Hitler's blueprint for a new world order.
Mein Kampf, the seminal book of the Nazi movement and of Hitler personally, a kind of mixture of autobiography and political manifesto. It is the key document, since all his ideas are there.
Hitler talks about how Germany is a racially superior nation. It's an idea that comes from a bastardized version of Charles Darwin's concept of the survival of the fittest. He claims that all true Germans belong to a race whose blood is stronger than that of all other peoples, the Aryans. Proof of the Aryan superiority would be their ability to dominate other peoples.
He very much identified the Aryan idea with the modern Germans. They were supposed to have physical characteristics such as blonde hair, blue eyes. They were supposed to be tall and manly.
Nature knows no political boundaries. She puts living creatures on this globe and watches the free play of forces. The stronger must dominate and not blend with the weaker, thus sacrificing his own greatness.
They were the people who were going to be the master race in Nazi Germany, and everybody else was coming lower down the pecking order. And God help you if you were near the bottom.